I heard it through the kitchen window. Not the front door, not the hallway, the kitchen window that faces the side yard, the one with the specific acoustic quality of a frame that has swollen slightly over the years, and that does not quite seal the way it was designed to. So that sounds from outside arrive in the kitchen with the particular clarity of things not meant to be heard indoors. My name is Loretta. I am 29 years old. I had driven 2 hours to surprise my parents for my mother's birthday. Not a party, a visit. The particular warm, simple gesture of a daughter who has been sending money every month for 4 years, and who has decided that this month she would also send herself. I had parked. I had walked to the back of the house because the front door was locked and the back was always open. I had heard voices in the side yard, my mother's voice, and the voice of Mrs. Hendricks from 3 houses down, who had been the specific neighborhood fixture of a woman who considers herself entitled to the detailed internal workings of every family on the block. My mother was talking. I stood by the kitchen window. She said, "You know how it is with children. Some of them give back and some of them don't. Loretta, she's the one I always worry about. She tries, but she never quite does enough. Her brother Raymond sends what the family needs. She sends what she can spare." Mrs. Hendricks made a sound of sympathetic understanding. I stood at the kitchen window. My hands were at my sides. Inside my bag was a birthday card with $200 in it, in addition to the $400 I had transferred 2 weeks ago, which was the same $400 I had transferred every month for 4 years, which was the specific $400 that had required. Across 48 months, the particular daily financial management of someone who is sending a significant portion of a modest income to her parents while living in the specific careful way of someone for whom every purchase is considered. I did not go inside. I went back to my car. I sat in the driver's seat. I put the birthday card in the glove compartment. I drove 2 hours home. I made the decision before I reached the highway. The 4 years deserve to be named specifically because the specificity is the story. I had started the monthly transfer in month 3 of my first real job, a position as a medical billing specialist at a regional hospital network, a job I had obtained through 2 years of community college and a certification program, and the particular determined patience of someone who had grown up understanding that credentials were the specific bridge between where she was and where she needed to be. The job paid $31,000 in year 1. I had started sending $400 a month in month 3 because my father had called in month 2 and said the household was short, and because I had said yes before I had finished calculating what yes required. What yes required, in month 3 of a $31,000 annual salary, was this: I had $800 left after rent and utilities and groceries, and the student loan payment that had been deferred as long as it could be deferred. $400 of that $800 went to my parents. The remaining $400 was what I had for everything else, for transportation, for medical copays when I needed them, for the specific miscellaneous expenses of a life that does not stop producing costs simply because the person living it is already constrained. I did not tell my parents how tight it was. Not from pride in the performed sense. From the particular understanding of a daughter in a family where need was a private thing and where help was something you gave and did not describe the giving of. Because describing the giving made the giving transactional, and the family's understanding of what family did for family was that you did it without accounting. Year 2, my salary increased. The $400 did not increase because $400 was the number my father had named, and the number had become the established amount, and changing an established amount in either direction required a conversation I had not had. Year 3, I had a car repair that cost $900. I borrowed the $900 from a credit union loan. I paid the credit union and sent the $400. I did not tell my parents about the car repair. Year 4, 48 months. $19,200. And through my mother's kitchen window, the child who never did enough. My brother Raymond was 33 years old and had been, for as long as I could remember, the specific favorite in the particular unspoken way that family favorites exist, not announced, not declared, but present in every room through the specific quality of how a parent's face changes when a specific child enters. Raymond sent what the family needed. I had heard this from my mother's own voice. I had also watched what Raymond sent. Raymond was a sales manager at a regional automotive dealership. He earned considerably more than I did. He had a wife and 2 children and a mortgage. He sent money when it was asked for, not monthly, not reliably, but responsively, in the way that larger amounts sent less frequently can appear more significant than smaller amounts sent consistently. Raymond had sent $1,100 in January when my parents' water heater broke. My mother had called every cousin and told them. Raymond had not sent anything in February or March or April. I had sent $400 in February and $400 in March and $400 in April. My mother had not called anyone about February or March or April. This is not a criticism of Raymond. Raymond had not made the comparison. My mother had made the comparison. My mother had compared the visible large gesture to the invisible consistent one and had decided that the visible one was the more significant. This is a specific human tendency that has nothing to do with the actual measure of what was given. $19,200 across 48 months. Invisible. Consistent. The child who never did enough. I drove home. I sat at my kitchen table. I looked at my banking app. The recurring transfer was scheduled for the 14th of the month. The 14th was 11 days away. I opened the recurring transfer. I paused it. I sat with the paused transfer on my screen. I did not feel relief. I did not feel guilt. I felt the particular specific feeling of someone who has stopped doing something automatic and who is now in the space between the automatic and the deliberate, trying to understand what the deliberate version of her relationship with her parents' financial needs should actually look like. I called my friend Donna. Donna Pierce was 31 years old and had been my closest friend since we were both 22 and sharing an apartment in the specific first real city apartment way of two women who had moved away from their respective families and who were discovering, simultaneously, that freedom and financial constraint were not mutually exclusive. She was a social worker now. She had spent 7 years watching families navigate the specific dynamics of financial dependence and obligation and emotional accounting, and she had developed, in response, the particular precise warmth of someone who has seen these patterns in professional context and who knows their names. She answered on the first ring. "Tell me," she said. I told her. The 4 years. The 400. The kitchen window. The child who never did enough. Raymond's 1100 in January. The pause transfer. She listened with the complete attention she always gave to things that mattered. When I finished, she said, "How long have you been sending money to your parents?" "For years," I said. "And before this evening," she said, "did you have any indication that your contribution was not being received as what it was?" "No," I said. "They always said thank you. They called on the 14th when it cleared. My mother would say it helped." "It helped," she said. "Yes," I said. "But she told Mrs. Hendricks that I never did enough," I said. "Loretta," she said. "Yes," I said. "What you overheard," she said, "is something I want to name for you, not to make it clinical, but because naming it accurately is the most useful thing I can do right now. What you overheard is the specific experience of giving something consistently and invisibly, and having the consistency and the invisibility combined to make the giving disappear into the background of what is expected." "The expected," I said. "When something becomes expected," she said, "it loses the quality of a gift. It becomes a baseline. And when you are the baseline, the person looking at the baseline doesn't see generosity, they see the minimum. And anything above the minimum, like Raymond's 1100, looks like extra." I sat with this. "The 400 became the minimum," I said. "Yes," she said. "Without anyone deciding that," I said. "These things rarely require a decision," she said. "They require only time and the absence of conversation." "What do I do?" I said. "I think," she said, "that you already know." The 14th arrived. I sat with the pause transfer on my screen for 43 minutes. I thought about $19,200 across 48 months. I thought about the car repair loan I had paid from the 400 I had not sent that month. Wait, I had still sent the 400 that month. I had borrowed the 900 separately. I thought about the birthday card with $200 in the glove compartment of my car. I thought about driving 2 hours and standing at a kitchen window. I thought about what Donna had named, the invisible consistency becoming the minimum, becoming the baseline, becoming the evidence of never doing enough. And then I thought about something else. I thought about what stopping meant. Not practically, morally. Because I was raised in the specific ethical framework of a family that understood children caring for parents as one of the foundational obligations of being a child. And that framework was real, and I believed in it, and I was not going to resolve my grief about the kitchen window by abandoning something I believed in. But I also believed in this. Obligations entered honestly require honest accounting on both sides. I had been accounting for 4 years. My mother had been accounting also, just differently. What I decided on the 14th was not that I was done. What I decided was that I was done with the invisible version. I sent the transfer. The last invisible transfer. The last one made from the particular automatic quality of something that had never been formally agreed to and had never been formally examined, and that had been running on the specific momentum of a 2 years ago phone call and a daughter who had said yes before she finished calculating. I sent it. Then I opened a draft email to my parents. I did not send the email that night. I wrote it. I revised it 3 times. I sent it on the 17th. The email said, "I love you. I have been sending $400 a month for 4 years, and I am glad I was able to contribute to the household. I am going to change this arrangement going forward. Not because I am unwilling to help. Because I think we should talk about what help looks like on both sides. Can we have that conversation?" My mother called the next morning. My mother was 57 years old and had the particular quality of a woman who had raised 2 children largely on the force of her own competence and who had developed, across the raising, the specific belief that children who were raised correctly were children who understood what was owed and gave it without being asked to account for the giving. She called at 7:42 a.m. I answered. "Loretta," she said. "Mama," I said. "I received your email," she said. "Yes," I said. "What does changing the arrangement mean specifically?" she said. "It means," I said, "that I would like to have a conversation about what I'm contributing and what you're receiving and what that looks like going forward." "A conversation about money," she said. "A conversation about our family's financial relationship," I said. "Which has been going on for 4 years without a conversation." She was quiet. "You've been sending the 400 for 4 years," she said. "Every month," I said. 48 months. "I know that," she said. "Mama," I said. "I need to tell you something, and I need you to receive it completely before you respond." "All right," she said. "I came to your house for your birthday," I said. "I drove 2 hours. I had a birthday card with $200 in it. Before I came to the door, I heard you talking to Mrs. Hendricks in the side yard." Silence. "I heard you say I was the child who never did enough," I said. "That Raymond sends what the family needs, and I send what I can spare." The silence was the specific silence of a woman who has heard something she said repeated back to her by the person she said it about, and who is now in the room with the consequence of the saying. "Loretta," she said. "I'm not calling to hurt you," I said. "I'm calling because I want you to understand why I wrote the email. For years of $400 a month is $19,200. I have sent that while managing a credit union loan for a car repair I didn't tell you about because I didn't want you to worry. I have sent it while being careful about every other expense in my life. And I heard you tell Mrs. Hendricks I don't do enough." Another silence. "I didn't know you heard," she said. "No," I said. "I didn't mean." "Mama," I said. "Tell me what you meant." She was quiet for a long time. The particular quality of a long silence on a phone call between a mother and a daughter who have just arrived at the most honest conversation of their relationship, not comfortable, not resolved, but finally in the same room with the truth, which is the only starting point for anything real. "Raymond came for Christmas," she said, "with the children. And he fixed the gutters while he was here, and he took your father fishing, and he stayed for 5 days. I sat with this. I wasn't comparing the money," she said. "I was comparing the presents." I held the phone. "You missed Christmas," she said. "And Thanksgiving the year before. And your father's birthday in March." "I had work obligations," I said. "I know," she said. "The money was what I could give when I couldn't be there," I said. "I know that too," she said. "But, Loretta, for me, the money doesn't feel like the same thing. When Raymond comes, he's here. When you send the 400, you're still far away." I looked at my kitchen wall. "Why didn't you tell me this?" I said. "Because," she started and stopped. "Mama," I said. Because I didn't want to make you feel like the money wasn't appreciated, she said. It was. It is. But I miss you. And when I miss you and Mrs. Hendricks asks how all my children are doing, I say something that comes from the missing and not from the full picture. That was wrong. I shouldn't have said it that way. I sat with this for a long time. The car repair. The credit union loan. The 400 cent every month while managing carefully. The tower drive with a birthday card. And my mother missing me. These were two different problems. I had been solving one and not seeing the other. She had been feeling one and not naming the other. Mama, I said. Yes, she said. Why didn't you just ask me to come home more? I said. She was quiet. Because I didn't want to be a burden, she said. The irony of the sentence arrived in the kitchen with the particular weight of something that has just completed a loop, the specific loop of two people who love each other and who have both been managing what they need privately instead of asking for it. We're the same, I said. What? She said. We're the same, I said. We both didn't ask. My father called on Sunday. He was 61 years old and had the particular quality of a man who expresses love through the steady, reliable presence of someone who shows up and stays, and who had, across 48 months of receiving his daughter's monthly transfer, said thank you on the 14th when it cleared with the particular warm brevity of a man who did not have many words for the things he felt most. He called on Sunday. He said, Loretta. Dad, I said. Your mother told me about the conversation, he said. Yes, I said. She was up late, he said. She doesn't sleep well when something is sitting with her. I know, I said. Loretta, he said. Yes, I said. I want to tell you something that your mother didn't say because she doesn't always know how to say the things that are the truest. All right, I said. Every month when that 400 cleared, he said, I looked at it in the account and I thought about you. Not about what we needed. About you. About what it must have taken. I looked at my kitchen table. I never said that to you, he said. I should have. No, I said. I knew it was tight for you, he said. Not the details. But I knew you were sending what cost you something. And I accepted it because your mother said it helped and because I didn't want to refuse something you were offering. But I should have asked more questions. Dad, I said. Yes, he said. Did you know what she told Mrs. Hendricks? I said. No, he said. I found out when your mother told me about your conversation. And I want you to know that what she said was not accurate, and it was not fair, and I told her so. I sat with this. You told her, I said. I told her, he said. That what you have given this family across 4 years is not nothing by any measure. And that a daughter who drove 2 hours for her mother's birthday and stood outside the window. He stopped. She told you that part, I said. She told me, he said. Dad, I said. I know, he said. I'm going to come home more, I said. We'd like that, he said. And the 400, I said. I'm going to change that. Loretta, he said. You never had to send it. I know, I said. But I wanted to. I know you did, he said. The new arrangement was not dramatic. I want to tell you about it because the story is not about a daughter who stopped helping her parents. It is about a daughter who started helping her parents on terms that were honest rather than automatic, and that reflected the full picture of what help meant and what it cost and what it was for. The new arrangement began with a conversation I had not had in 4 years, a direct conversation about what my parents' actual monthly shortfall was, what I could reasonably contribute without managing a credit union loan for car repairs, and what other forms of support, presence, time, the specific warmth of being there rather than sending there, I could offer. The conversation required that my parents be honest about their finances. They had never been asked to be. When they were honest, the picture was different from the assumed picture. The monthly shortfall that had prompted the original 400 was not as significant as the 400 had made it seem. Because the 400 had been provided consistently for long enough that the household had adjusted to receiving it and had organized the budget around its presence, which had moved the number from filling a gap to constituting a portion of the baseline. My father's pension and my mother's part-time work covered the essentials. The 400 was supplementing things that were not emergencies. The honest number, the number I could give that reflected what they actually needed that they couldn't cover, was $150 a month. I started sending $150. I also started driving home once a month. Not every month without exception, once a month with the particular deliberate intention of someone who has understood that the presence is what was being missed and who has decided to provide the presence as consciously as she had been providing the transfer. My mother's birthday, and the following year I was there. Not at the kitchen window. At the kitchen table. We had the specific meal she made for significant occasions. Mrs. Hendricks came by to say happy birthday. My mother introduced me. She said, "This is my daughter Loretta. She drives 2 hours every month to see us." Mrs. Hendricks said, "How lovely." I looked at my mother. She looked at me. She did not say what she had said through the window. She said, "She's the one I count on." Here is what I kept from a kitchen window and a birthday card in a glove compartment and a paused transfer and everything that followed. I kept what Donna named the invisible consistency, becoming the minimum, becoming the baseline, becoming the evidence of never doing enough. I carry this understanding into every significant giving relationship I have now. Not as suspicion, but as the specific honest awareness that giving which is never examined by either party eventually stops being seen as giving and starts being seen as the floor. Floors are not praised. They are walked on. The floor deserved a conversation. The conversation produced a different relationship. I give deliberately now. I name what I am giving. I ask what is needed. This is not transactional. This is honest. Those are different things. I kept my father's Sunday call. The specific thing he said that my mother didn't know how to say. Every month when the 400 cleared, he thought about me. Not the money me. He knew it cost something. He accepted it without asking questions, and he should have asked questions, and he told me this. He also told my mother what she said through the kitchen window was not accurate and not fair. He told her. I did not ask him to. He did it because it was true and because he loves me in the particular quiet way of a man whose love is not performed but is present. I keep his Sunday call. I kept my mother's revision. She introduced me to Mrs. Hendricks as the one she counts on. Not in the performed way of a woman managing her image. In the particular warm way of a woman who has had a conversation that reorganized something and who is expressing the reorganization in the only language she easily speaks, the social language of how she describes her children to other people. The revision was small. The revision was significant. Both are true simultaneously. I kept the birthday card. The one with the $200 that sat in my glove compartment for 2 hours and then came home with me. The following year, I brought it in person. I gave it at the kitchen table. My mother opened it. She held it for a moment. She said, "You drove 2 hours." I said, "Yes." She said, "Thank you, baby." It was the first thank you in 4 years that I believed she understood the weight of. I am 29 years old. I sent $400 a month for 4 years. I stood at a kitchen window. I drove home. I paused a transfer. I had the conversation. I send 150 now. I come home once a month. The presence was always what was needed. I just didn't know to give it until I heard what was missing from the window. If this story reached something in you, if you have ever given quietly and consistently and discovered that the giving had become invisible, I want to hear about it in the comments. What did you give that nobody named until you stopped? Stories like this one stay alive because people carry them forward. Share this with someone who needs it today. And if you would like more stories told honestly, the way things worth keeping deserve to be told, subscribe. We will be here. The end.